some of their most extraordinary theatrical celebratory moments.
Where do we each have a wildly different point of view?
Story, like who are you?
Great design is great business.
All kind of change direction and design to something new, but it's all now the same. How are you as a designer trying to create something distinct that doesn't play into the ever new emerging design cliches? You need to have a true story. Like, who are you? What is this about? And when you craft that carefully, you can design towards it. But when it comes to the hard brands, you need to develop brand narratives.
We view our lobbies as community spaces. So to just look at other hotel lobbies feels short-sighted to us. And so we'll look broadly around what is happening in community in that micro location. And where can we differentiate? Where are there areas that are underserved? And where do we each have a wildly different point of view?
Look at what our next generation of customers seeks. Again, what are their passion points and their values in life?
Vito, building on that, how do you look at creating designs that are long-lasting and resilient, but also speak truth to the atmosphere that you're in? Defining design in a way that plays to a balance between the familiar and the unexpected, in a way where when people use a space, it feels intuitive. What struck you about that particular design? Somehow you've been able to crystallize the nostalgia of that golden era, and you coalesce it together so that you feel like you step back in time, but you did it with exact precision. I mean, you nailed it.
Well, I think all of us always bring a bit of our life, quite a bit of our life. And, I worked for a film studio in Hollywood for many years. I worked for the Walt Disney Company. So most of my design is always driven by thinking about how cameras frame up a moment at scene and move through a space. And that's a common part of all of my space planning.
You were talking about psychographics, but the fact of the matter is demographics still matter. And a 30-year-old person who's looking for luxury might perceive things very different than a 70-year-old. Can you design a single product that appeals to both?
I think yes and no.
Yeah.
So we're not building spaces for a specific age group. What I want as a guest might be different than what somebody 30 years older than me might want. And what I want as a guest when I'm traveling for business or when I'm traveling for leisure or I'm traveling with my kids. I do think our industry has a really unique opportunity to really invest in this idea of belonging and shared experiences.
Cycling graphics being more important than demographics, I think, is key. People tend to do things in a similar way across generations.
We've all been on the development and operations and ownership side. Great design is great business.
Here for Todd, Jessica, and Vito. I'm glad you all later. You love you.